This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Every year around October 13th, I talk about this because this is the beginning of ritual season 2020 here, October 13th, and one of the craziest years with the things that were going on. We're seeing how we're moving closer to this 1984 end times type of society. It's important to remember the stuff that I'm going to share with you, so please listen and share it with people so they know. Because it's not a joke, even though everyone will say it's a joke. They just don't see the constant praising of witches, magic, and this satanic lifestyle, and
You mean Halloween? You mean people having fun with Halloween stuff? That's not what that is. People are having fun with the holiday. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Halloween. It's a thing that people do. And just because, like, part of its roots have things in, like, Samhain or whatever, that doesn't mean most people are Satanists. It's just a fun holiday for people. Sorry. This year, it's not even going to be that fun for kids because they can't go out and do trick-or-treating. It sucks. But it is what it is, you know? The Stellar Sea Cow. Wait, Mercury is in retrograde now, too. Or am I tripping? I don't even know what that means. I don't do astrology stuff because it's not real, so I don't know what that means. MMO addicted. Also, since I was helping my friend with his ballot, and researching stuff for him, I'm officially foreign interference in your election. Pretty sure that's not what that means, but if it makes you feel better, yeah, sure.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Dude spanking dudes with 10 bits. It's kind of stupid that people think that us pagans are Satanists. You don't gotta be a Satanist to do spells. I'm not gonna say what I want to say there.
music videos, the movies, the promotion of it. They don't see it. They're blinded by it because they think everything is art or some type of entertainment, when in reality they're being programmed to accept it and be desensitized. So
why does he have like an echo effect? Does he legit like record this in a shed with concrete floors and like walls? Or does he add that echo effect in post because he thinks it sounds cool? Note, it does not sound cool. Please stop. It is annoying.
share this information. As most of you who follow the channel know, I try to point out these satanic ritual dates on the satanic calendar. I do it just
Tucker White 94. When in America is all this cool stuff in this video happening? Because I want to move to it. Yeah. I'll live in Satanist America. Probably have more rights.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
MMO addicted with 10 bits. I was joking, Hannah. But it's amusing to me that I had to explain American policies and politics as well as taxation and rent control to my friend. Oh, God.
because it's important for spiritual warfare to know what's going on. I've always felt that way, at least. I understand.
Drakewing, thank you for subscribing with a 5-month streak. 5 months of Hannah time. Hope you enjoy it.
Some people say, well, why do we need to know? Well, you don't necessarily need to know. If you're not interested, obviously don't listen to the video. I'm not trying to create fear and paranoia by saying this is what goes on during these dates, but people should be aware because a lot of abductions occur. A lot of animals go missing. This is stuff that actually...
Not more so than the rest of the year.
does go on. It's been going on.
This is literally like repeating BS satanic panic stuff from the 80s that wasn't true then, and it's not true now.
For hundreds of years in this time period, because these are significant dates for the Satanists. This is when the veil is at its thinnest. This is when offerings are given to Satan, specifically during this period of time, which starts October 3rd.
Why would Satan only want offerings in October? If I'm Satan, I want them all year round. Satanists, come on. Get some animals, sacrifice them, drink their blood. I don't care if it's June. I don't care if it's October. I don't care if it's February or March or April. Do it! I'm Satan!
13th and runs to the 31st, which is Samhain, Halloween.
Antipodian Squid with 100 bits. I feel like we're watching a live-action chick tract. Kinda.
Night. All we truly need in this spiritual warfare is God, is the scriptures, is prayer. But during these specific dates, it's important to make sure you are in prayer and you're aware that spiritual warfare is running rampant. And that if you have animals and stuff like that, you should definitely keep an eye on them. The myth of a cat getting abducted on, All Hallows Eve or on Halloween, it's not a myth. Okay, stuff like this doesn't just become a myth. Oh, did you hear?
Spoilers, it's a myth.
The cat got killed. It's been going on since witches have been here.
Or it's literally a bunch of douchey teenagers stealing a cat and doing something gross to it. Like killing it or something because they're sick. but it's not Satanists. It's not Satanists stealing your cat.
So you could date it back as far as you want to date it. So this period, which starts the 13th, as you know, with Aleister Crowley and the law of reversals, 13th is 31 backwards. On the 13th, they begin their preparation for All Hallows Eve and Samhain. This is like an abduction period. They hold ceremonial preparations for sacrifices and human sacrifices during.
Question. Where's your evidence for this? Other than some idiot said it to you once. What's your evidence? Please? Hello? Hello? McFly? You gonna actually say where your evidence is, or you just gonna say this like it's true? Iron Q-Bolt, I'm the one stealing his cats. Well, he probably deserves it, and frankly, those cats could probably go to a better home anyway.
This time period, which leads up to October 28th and 30th, which is, this when they start doing their blood rituals and human sacrifices each day. It could be.
I'll have you know, I start my blood rituals on the 25th. Okay, you want to start early, and you want to start thoroughly. Lots of blood. Okay, let's be clear. I'm not one of these milquetoast Illuminati who's like, oh, it's the 28th, I better start doing my blood sacrifices. No, you do it early. You show up early, you leave late. That's how you get in good with the boss. The boss being Beelzebub, obviously.
Male or a female, and then October 30th and 31st, which is All Hallows Eve and Halloween night. That's where they perform sexual orgies, sexual climax. They summon all sorts of demons. There's animal and human sacrifice that occurs, and it's when the veil during this period is at its thinnest. What that means is that it's easier for them.
Don't forget protection, kids, for all your satanic orgies, okay? We're gonna have fun. We're gonna drink the blood of some innocent animals, but we're gonna be safe while we do it. Tucker White 94, do satanic sacrifices also count as satanic ritual child abuse? Well, it's satanic, so yeah. Even though it's not ritual child abuse, it is satanic, so you got that one. Hold on, let me go get my friend. Ah.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
The Stellar Sea Cow, but if I use protection, how will I be the vessel of the Antichrist? Obviously, if you're the vessel, then you don't wear protection. Everyone else should, though.
Their spells are stronger during this period because it's easier for them to summon demons from the other side for their.
Magic isn't real. Demons aren't real. So none of these things are a danger to literally anyone.
Their black magic rituals and all this disgusting, embarrassing stuff that these Satanists partake in. So it's important during this time period to stay strong in your prayers. It's important during this time period to just
counter their evil magic with your good magic. Magic is real.
Just keep an eye on your pets, okay? And I know people go, oh, that's ridiculous, it's over the top. Listen, if you go down, I don't know where, anybody out there lives, but
Daddy Sume with 10 bits. If magic was real, I would have sold my soul by now. What is wrong with you? I know, that's the thing, right? Like, if magic was real, and I could team up with Satan to learn magic, heck yeah, I'd be on that team. All the way, okay? But it's not a thing that happens. It's not a thing that exists. Satan isn't real. I hate to break it to you. Satan's not real. So, maybe chill out. Just enjoy Halloween. Go watch Nightmare on Elm Street or something.
If I go into my town or a town, and I do, when I do leave the house, I see signs all the time, especially during ritual seasons, of missing dogs, okay, that just, they're just missing. They were in someone's backyard cage.
There are missing dog or cat signs around all year round. You're probably noticing them more in October because you're a delusional person who has a bias where you're looking for them in October because you're like, oh, it's October.
There's
It's
nothing funny
the
about
part
the
of the time
tools
of the year
capitalism.
Satanists are stealing animals, so you're actively looking for them, and thus creates an issue where you're only noticing them in October, and it makes you think, oh, I was right. It's like a bias. You're confirming your own bias by looking for these things in October.
Caged in, and then the dog goes missing. The dog didn't jump over the fence and run away. Okay, people aren't
There's nothing
kidnapping the
funny
dog
about the
because they
tools
said,
of capitalism.
Antipodian Squid, and I do leave the house. Sure, pal, you definitely leave the house. We believe you.
did you see that dog next door? What a beautiful dog. We should take the dog and keep the dog for ourselves. These animals are taken for sacrifice rituals. That's what they're taken for. People aren't stealing other people's pets and then selling them on the black market. That's not how it.
I don't think a lot of people steal pets and sell them. I think a lot of people steal pets because they want a pet or some other reason. I don't even know. I think it's mostly if someone steals a pet, it's because they want a pet. I don't think I've ever heard of someone stealing a pet to sell it. I'm sure there's someone addicted to drugs out there who's tried, but who's buying a dog from like a crackhead? That's not a thing I think most people are willing to do. TubeMan642. What I never understood about people who believe in witches is why they think they could stop witches. They have magic. They could kill you instantly. Yeah, I don't get that either. Sorry, I missed your bits, Daddy Sume. Let me see if I can go back. Do they think The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is a documentary? That's a good show. I like that show. I haven't caught up, though, so no spoilers.
What's working here. Okay? That's just not what's going on. But they want you to think that that stuff happens. But they don't bring attention to abductions and kidnapping of animals. And they certainly don't bring much attention to the kidnapping and abduction of children, which is just ridiculous that is something in an election period. Like right now, they don't talk about how many kids are going missing and how trafficking.
The number of kids going missing isn't noticeably different right now than any other period. And again, when QAnon people, this guy's someone who believes in QAnon, although he hasn't explicitly said it, so no, don't knock that off your thing. Daddy Sume. Spoilers, it's not real. Sorry, Hannah. Yeah, the vast majority, like 80 to 90% of all child kidnappings, they're not like your stereotypical white van stranger kidnappings. The vast majority of kidnappings are done by parents or by other family members. So, like, if you don't have custody of your kid, and you take that kid without the consent of the one who does have custody, that's a kidnapping. For instance, let me show you some fun stuff. QAnon kidnapping. Nope, that's not. There have been multiple in the past year or so instances where QAnon believers have kidnapped their own kids because they don't have custody anymore, and they're crazy QAnon people, so they go and they kidnap their own children. So more QAnon believers have participated in kidnapping than any Satanist Democrats, because QAnon believers exist. Satanist Democrats don't. At least not in the way QAnon believers think they do.
Industry makes over $32 billion annually.
Poopy Dickens with a stat that's quite enlightening. About 200,000 child abductions happen every year. Less than 400 are done by a stranger. True. Stranger danger is a lie. I hate to break it to everyone, although, yeah, don't get in a van with a stranger. But, like, you're much more likely to be kidnapped as a child, or harmed as a child, or abused as a child by a family member than a stranger. Welcome to the horrifying reality of the world in which we live. Hope you enjoy your stay.
I mean, it's a ridiculous amount of money. It's almost as much as drug trade. And you don't hear anybody talk about it. All you're talking about is Donald Trump talking.
People talk about child trafficking all the time. People talk about it all the time. What are you talking about?
About another woman's private parts, and Hillary Clinton's set up faked leaked emails, which is all part of this plan, this staged event. Her email.
Oh, the emails thing is fake now because they didn't find anything, you know. They didn't find anything that's, what's the word I'm thinking of? They didn't find anything incriminating in the emails, so now the emails are fake. That's a new one. I haven't heard that before.
Emails wouldn't leak unless they wanted to. So all this stuff is what people focus on. They think the rest of this stuff is, not important or fictional. In reality, this is the stuff that's going on. Children are being abducted, and they're being abducted not because people want other people's kids so that they can, they couldn't have a kid on their own, so they want to abduct someone else's. And despite what they'll tell you, okay, because I know when they bring up child abduction, they say, well, they're abducting children, then they're sending them to third world countries so they could do slave labor. That's the illusion they want to create, because they don't want to mention that they're abducting them for sexual rituals and satanic rituals. What else are they going to say? When people go, where are these kids going? Why are they going missing? That's the excuse they give. So they set up fake charities. I've exposed one on this channel before. Just, charities that, we're accepting money to try to help get kids out of third world countries who are doing slave labor, who are abducted in America. It's all a ruse. It's all to get people to look in the opposite direction and say, oh, okay, kids are going missing, but this is where they're going. Nobody's talking about satanic rituals and this stuff. Now, I'll probably do a video talking about Halloween and what's behind it, the satanic, meaning behind it and what it really stands for. But I'll say something here, which I don't hear that many people say, but you have to really put it in perspective. This has only been going on for 100 years or so, give or take. Halloween in America. And a lot of other countries don't celebrate. It's a satanic holiday. Halloween is a satanic holiday. That's all.
No, it's not. Halloween, as it's practiced in the United States and other countries, is not a satanic holiday. It's not. It's a holiday where people go out, if they're kids, and they go trick-or-treating, and they get candy from other people, and if you're an adult, you have a party, or maybe you stay in and just give candy to kids, or you stay in and you watch, scary movies. It's a good time, and it's fun. A lot of people like Halloween for obvious reasons. It's just a fun, spooky time, and the aesthetic is pretty great. So people enjoy that stuff, but it's not satanic. It's just not. I don't know why you guys think it's satanic. It's so weird that you believe that. Oh, it muted. Sorry.
Behind it, not just, behind the holiday and the worship of Satan. The purpose behind the trick-or-treating and all that stuff is pretty easy to figure out. They need to do child sacrifice.
Yeah, the origins aren't satanic. They're pagan. Paganism and Satanism are different things. But, again, the origins of, Christmas are pagan, too. But that doesn't make Christmas a pagan holiday. It's not. It is both a Christian and secular holiday. People celebrate it differently. Halloween is a secular holiday.
Sacrifices and rituals on Halloween. How else would they get kids back 70 years ago? Okay? They were kidnapping and abducting children because kids were going around knocking on doors asking for candy. Kids were going missing.
Okay, so you think the first Halloween where people decided to do trick-or-treating. By the way, this is 70 years ago when everyone knew their neighbors. And you think that they're hey guys, we're gonna do this new thing called trick-or-treating, and a bunch of kids walked around and got candy, and a bunch went missing, and they went, well, that was kind of a bust, but I guess we should continue to do this for another 70 years. That's incredibly stupid. Incredibly, incredibly stupid. Christians have no creativity and they need to just admit it. I think that's a really, really blanket statement that does not apply in reality. Most classical, or not classical, most Renaissance artists were, Christian. I don't think that that's a fair thing to say at all. Daddy Sume, anything that isn't Christian is Satan. Pagan equals Satan. Muslim equals Satan. Buddhism equals Satan. Yeah, anything that isn't Christian, some people think is Satan for some reason. Antipodian Squid with 100 bits. Petition to rebrand Christmas as a satanic holiday due to its pagan origins for consistency. I'm down.
They were abducting them.
It wouldn't even be hard. Santa's, really close to Satan anyway. In spelling.
And using them for ritual sacrifice. Now, over time, how did they start getting...
Tuvek Von Raven with 100 bits. I'm pretty sure pagans also had bad gods or other equivalents to Satan, probably. Kierthin with 100 bits. Hype train. Are we in a hype train? Every level of the hype train that we successfully get to, I will put on more tinfoil, as y'all know.
Getting their ritual sacrifices. Well, abortion became a huge thing in America because the Satanists brainwashed everybody into thinking it wasn't, a murder or a sacrifice or any of those things. They said, oh, it's a woman's choice. They turned it into a feminist movement when it's...
Really, we're bringing abortion into this now? Okay, cool. I didn't know abortions only happen in October. Crystal Cat with 100 bits. Hype, 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 hype. Thank you. And Bellstar, armor up, Hannah, to protect against the 5G. I will. Woohoo Lulu with 10 bits. I once told a religious friend that atheists are... Oh. I once told a religious friend that atheists are pagan because any belief against God is pagan. Antipodian Squid gifting 10 tier 1 subs. Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. We are... Let me see what level we're at now. MW1642 with 300 bits. That's the last of my bits. Well, thank you. I appreciate them very much. Let me get Ooh, I'm getting hiccups. That's not good. That's not good for a stream. Level
There's
we're
nothing funny
already
about
got
the tools of
through level
capitalism.
3s. Nice. Let me get these glasses.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
This is difficult to do on my own. The Stellar Sea Cow. Okay, so when my mom was in a cult, they literally didn't celebrate Christmas because it was satanic because of the pagan origins.
funny
But
about the
birthdays,
tools of
Halloween,
capitalism.
Easter were all not okay. Yeah, in America, similarly, when, was it America or the UK? I don't remember. But, like, when Christmas was starting to be a
There's
thing,
nothing
there were
funny
similar
about the tools of
concerns, like, oh,
capitalism.
this is a pagan holiday, and a bunch of, people got sticks up their butts about it. But, of course, over time, they came around, and now basically everyone in the Western world
There's
celebrates
nothing
Christmas.
funny about the tools of capitalism.
Let me get that foily vest. 1, 2, Antipodian Squid, thank you for gifting another sub.
There's nothing funny about the
Where
tools of
did it go?
capitalism.
It's like this. Jacob Faces, or Jaco Faces, thank you with 100 bits. Appreciate it. Stellar Sea Cow with 50 bits. Both
There's
the
nothing
UK and
funny
the
about
US
the
didn't
tools
allow
of
Christmas, but
capitalism.
mostly because young men would get drunk as F and start problems. Yeah, that sounds about right. We'll have my gavel to make rulings. Me and
There's
Beelzebub.
nothing funny about the tools
70% of the
capitalism.
level 4 hype train. Beelzebub. Oh, that's funny because I just mentioned this Beelzebub. Beelzebub, thank you for the 33 bits. Ooh, 33. That's an Illuminati number or something.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Actually, the killing of a child, and they convinced the masses out there.
Does tinfoil protect against koalas? It does protect against CGI creatures, yes. Random invite. Thank you for
There's nothing
subscribing.
funny about
I'm
the
late.
tools
What
of
did you miss?
capitalism.
Not much. Koalas are fake. Did you know that? Antipodian Squid gifting another sub. Vulcan Princess 97. Bell's Star with 50 bits. Let me get that drunk mass,
funny
though.
about
That
the
sounds
tools
pretty
of
great.
capitalism.
And 2 Mac Von Raven with 500 bits. All jokes aside, was there ever a conspiracy theory you examined and thought that could be legit? That's a good question. Conspiracy theories that I think
There's nothing funny
could
about
be
the tools
true.
of capitalism.
Beelzebub with 42 bits, thank you. There's one where it's a JFK
There's
conspiracy
nothing funny
theory,
about the tools of
but it's not that the
capitalism.
CIA or anyone killed him. It's that, oh god, why am I blanking on, Lee Harvey Oswald. His name's Lee Harvey Oswald. The conspiracy goes that Lee Harvey Oswald went to shoot JFK
nothing funny
and
about the
missed,
tools of capitalism.
and then a Secret Service agent was fumbling for their gun, and when they went to do so, they're actually the one who shot JFK in the head, and that's why it's a weird situation. That one's not true, but for a while
nothing
I was
funny
like,
about
that's
the tools of
hilarious.
capitalism.
That could be true. I don't believe conspiracy theories that involve, like, for one thing, I don't really believe in most conspiracy theories because they tend to be really, really stupid and involve a lot of magical thinking. But
There's nothing funny about
I
the tools
do
of
think
capitalism.
that there's probably situations where the government or other organizations do something really, really stupid and they try and cover it up. So that's why that one was interesting to me. Again, I don't think that's legit what happened. I do
nothing
think
funny
Lee Harvey
about the
Oswald
tools
killed
of
him,
capitalism.
but it's funny to think about. Roman civilian with 300 bits. Thank you. And like 9/11.
nothing funny
Like
about the tools of
I don't think that was
capitalism.
like a. I mean, it was a conspiracy in the sense that the 9/11 hijackers, had a plan. Al Qaeda or whatever, like had a plan, and that was a conspiracy. But the idea that 9/11's some sort of like governmental
nothing
conspiracy,
funny
no,
about the
and
tools of
I don't think that. But I think they even did a mini-series about this called The Looming Tower. I don't remember who put it out. But basically a lot of intelligence agencies had little bits and pieces of
nothing funny about
the
the
puzzle
tools
in
of
terms of like
capitalism.
predicting 9/11 happening and knowing something was going to go down. But they weren't sharing information with one another. And that allowed, it to happen unabated. So I find that interesting. But yeah, there's not a lot of conspiracy things that
There's nothing funny
I
about the
believe.
tools of
I don't know.
capitalism.
Pier Square, I heard that Jack Ruby was paid by the KGB to kill Oswald, so I wouldn't blame them. The Jack Ruby thing is weird. It is so weird that Lee Harvey
nothing funny
Oswald
about
got
the tools
killed
of
like days
capitalism.
after That is super bizarre. But I understand. I don't believe in JFK conspiracies, but I do understand why it spawned so many. It is a super bizarre situation. Stellar Sea Cow, honestly, I think the Secret Service accidentally killed JFK. The guy on his security detail were all pretty hungover. Looming Tower was about FBI and CIA conflicts. A lot of it was set from the first World Trade Center bombing to the embassy and ends on 9/11. Yeah. What was the other one? Oh god, I already lost my train of thought on it. Sorry. 41% of the level 5 of the hype train.
There to go along with it, to stand up for women having the right to choose. And what it really is a sacrifice and a ritual. So as time progressed and people...
No, that's not what abortions are. Abortions are a medical procedure. They're not a satanic ritual. Tucker White 94. While I agree with most of the 9/11 story, I can't completely dismiss the idea that there was some complicity within the U.S. government.
There's nothing funny about the tools of
Let me be clear. I don't think this is true. I am not a 9/11 conspiracy theorist. But if it came out at some point that, like, the George Bush administration, the George W. Bush administration, kind of knew it was coming and decided to let it happen so they could war profiteer, it wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world to me. I don't necessarily think that happened, I'm just saying. 52% with 30 seconds left in the hype train. Tucker White 94. Well, I agree with most of 9/11. Oh, already read that. Daddy Sume with 10 bits. Yay, my new headset is here. Time to prepare to stream. Nice. Tumek Von Raven with 300 bits. I think people have conspiracy theories about 9/11 because a state conspiracy is less scary than a bunch of Arabs forcing the strongest nation to its knees. I suppose. I guess. But that's like, you know...
There's nothing funny about the tools of
How do I put this? Antipodian Squid with 1,000 bits. Bits of hype, love, 85%. We were so close. We were so close. Nice, though. Thank you, everyone, for the level 4 hype train. I think I still need to get one more thing or something. But, yeah, I don't know. I think it's shocking to people to think about how easy it is for people to commit terrible acts like 9/11. But, you know, people do. It's not that hard. It's sad. It's scary, but that's reality. The positive thing is stuff like that doesn't happen super often, I guess, depending on what country you're in, depending on how unstable the country is. But, yeah, I don't know. I think it's nice to think about how it's not like 9/11 is happening every other day, you know? Like, that could have happened through a lot of history, but just people don't do that. They don't do that very often. I gotta find some more tinfoil. And then we'll finish this video out.
Agreed with and went along with abortion. There wasn't as much of a need for them on Halloween to abduct kids because it was riskier to do it, right? Somebody grabbing a kid off the street, especially now with phones and the technology, is a little bit more risky for them. But since they have the abortion ritual sacrifices, they use those for their satanic rituals during this period. But kids are...
Well, that's convenient for everyone involved, isn't it? Someone doesn't want to give birth, so they get an abortion. Which, by the way, it's convenient that Satan considers, like, you know, month-old, 2-month-old fetuses to be equivalent to a child. That's very convenient. So a woman gets rid of her pregnancy that's unwanted, and Satan's happy and doesn't have to kill actual living, breathing children that matter. Seems like a win-win.
Still getting abducted. But the reason that it started, really, even though they'll tell you, oh, it was about candy, it was about, they were trying to help out the candy business. There's all sorts of lies that float out there about it. You can read many different ones. The History Channel even has lies and propaganda out there about, oh, it started as a small thing in a small town and it spread in the West, and oh, now it's just a tradition for people. It's for kids.
And that's the truth as far as I know. If you have evidence to the contrary, provide it. Otherwise, shut up. Like, if you have actual evidence that Halloween is a satanic conspiracy theory put forth to brainwash children, then you need to provide evidence to that. And if you have no evidence, then you need to shut your mouth. That's how that works.
To have fun and have candy and all this nonsense.
Fun is nonsense. No more fun, kids, okay?
Idea around it, think about it. was for them on a night where they do these satanic rituals, where they sacrifice and do pedophilia with children. Okay, on that specific night, the night that veils the thinnest, the night that is most important and sacred to the Satanists, the kids are running around knocking on doors at a time period where you probably weren't, it wasn't easy to abduct kids and you weren't getting abortion sacrifices. They had to have a way where they could go and grab children and perform ritual sacrifices and abduct them and kidnap them. And if you go back, the statistics you'll find now are very much tainted. You won't hear stuff. They almost...
I wonder what this guy means by they. He means Satanists. He thinks that there's like Illuminati Satanists. He's into QAnon, so he thinks it's all Satanists. And yes, it probably involves a certain amount of anti-Semitism. Let me see if there's some anti-Semitism on this. Thinly veiled anti-Semitism. Yeah, I'll count that.
Have made it like a myth, like, oh, didn't kids used to get abducted in the 80s and the 70s on Halloween night? Wasn't that like the worst night for child abductions? You can't find stuff really on it anymore.
Because it isn't true! Because that was an urban myth! Because that was part of Satanic Panic, which was fake! Boy, I can't believe I can't find information on this thing that was never true.
But growing up and, you hearing about it, you would hear about it all the time in small towns. A kid
What day does Halloween fall on? October 31st.
Missing. A kid went missing. Now they don't even mention it on the news anymore. It's almost like, oh, nothing's happening on Halloween. It used to happen all the time. I don't know how frequent it is now, like I said, because they can get the ritual offerings through the abortions, so it's not as mandatory for them to go around picking up kids and using them for ritual sacrifices. Now, keep in mind, a lot of the parents in the covens were offering up their children as sacrifice as well, but this was another means for them to do the...
Again, these are all unsubstantiated claims. He's just saying words and not providing any evidence that any of this is true. This is things he's heard on weird uber Christian message boards and other satanic panic sources. None of this is evidenced to ever have happened. None of this is true.
The abduction and the kidnapping. And that, to me, that's, the core and the reason behind the trick-or-treating, behind all of that stuff.
I don't think this counts as my research unless he literally says my research. You gotta have him actually say that they've done some research. Stephen J. Neptune Man, sadly, Halloween is actually satanic is one of the more common conspiracy theories. The retired NBA basketball player Amar Stoudemire? Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Made an Instagram post a couple of years ago saying he boycotts Halloween for that very reason. Yeah, a lot of hardcore Christians believe stupid stuff like that. Tucker White 94. There's fake stories like this every year around Halloween. For example, there's usually a story about a drug dealer's giving drugs to kids for free on Halloween, which is ridiculous because no drug dealer worth his or her their salt would give drugs for free. Yeah, there's been, I think in the history of Halloween, 2 examples of a kid being drugged via candy, and one of them was done by a family member. I don't remember what the other one was. Maybe it was only the one, I don't know. But I do know the one happened, and it was the uncle gave the kid, drugged up brownies or something, and the uncle got in a lot of trouble. No one is giving your shitty kids edibles, right? Like, if I had drugs, I'm not giving these drugs to children. I'm taking the drugs.
To make it fun, to get the kids out there. It's a complete distraction.
Do you know how expensive edibles are? Like a good edible? I'm not giving that to a kid.
Kids are going missing. In the 80s, it was unbelievable how many kids were getting abducted.
Not during October. No. Again, this is a myth.
Unbelievable. And the statistics, when you look back on it, they still try to make it like it's some type of urban legend. Like, oh, kids were getting abducted. They were getting...
Because it is an urban legend. I'm sure kids got abducted in the 80s, and I was always very sad, like all child abductions are. But the idea that this is, connected to Satanism in some way is a completely unfounded lie. It is an urban legend. It's part of Satanic Panic. It's not what was happening.
Getting abducted. They just won't report on it anymore. And they won't give you...
Yeah, I know they're bringing Animaniacs back.
Real statistics on anymore. They alter the statistics, just like they're altering the statistics now.
Oh, so when you look back and try and look at the statistics, oh, they don't show what you want, so it must be altered, and it can't be that you're wrong and quoting basically urban legends. Absolute delusion.
Now with, cops shooting black people and vice versa, they're upping how many people are dying all this stuff.
Racism, too. Lovely.
that's always been going on. They're just changing the statistics around. That's how they convince people and use mind control over them. So again, this period starts October 13th and runs to the 31st. Just
Sadly, drugs would probably be the healthiest thing those kids eat all day.
be strong in your prayer and in scriptures and read it and trust only in Jesus Christ, not in man, not in the media, not in politics, not in anything you hear going on out there, not in me, not in other YouTubers. Trust only in Jesus Christ. Stay strong in prayer and in faith. Just keep an eye, on your pets and your kids, if you have kids or grandkids, because it's truth. I know people go, well, that's fear, you're fear mongering. And this is the reality of the matter. Okay?
No, it's not. No, it's not. And you know how I know it's not? Because you provided no evidence. And you know how I know it's bullshit? Because if it was true, then you would have provided evidence it's true and not just spent 11 minutes being like, some super serial, guys. This is so important. It's happening. Okay, show the proof. Show any evidence that this is the case. Absolute loser. Making things up and fear-mongering over satanic panic urban legends that were never true. What a joke. Well, this guy's a friggin' joke. Anyway, that's enough of a call for an uprising for today.